Hey, y'all, this is Aloe Blacc, and you are listening to the Sugar Hill Gang podcast.
Yo. What's up? Hey, world. This is the Sugar Hill Gang podcast. And I am your host, the Master G, the M-A-S, the T-E-R, the G with a double E. And I'm joined by my co-hosts and my brothers in the struggle. What's up, T Dynasty? Say what's up, T?
What's happening, people?
And my man, Pots and Pans, Hen Diggity, Hen Dog, the Hen to the Diggity Dog. Say what's up,
What's
Hen?
up, baby? You know it. Wakanda, baby. Wakanda forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today.
Yes.
We are in the presence of a young man who is doing some astoundingly, profoundly things. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aloe Blacc. What's up, Aloe?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
No. Hey, man, this is an honor. I was telling everybody yesterday in the gym, I'm interviewing Aloe Blacc. And it was like, really? Wow, that's pretty deep. I was like, yeah, I know. We stepping up our game. So thanks, man, for agreeing to do this, man.
No
Definitely very cool. Just to jump into it and let's go crazy. We have a little of history. As people. So I'm gonna start 2007. I don't even know if you knew this, but 2005, I came back into music, performing, touring actively. And by 2007 was our first European tour. And we ended up in Berlin and we were doing this big concert. It was filmed and the whole 9 yards, was on the water. And Nike was the sponsor. And they sent me this picture of Hen on stage, and right behind Hen, you were on the stage. Do you remember that?
Oh, snap. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to say this is called Live Demo in Berlin.
Yes.
Germany.
By the wall.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yep. By the water, by the wall.
That's what it was.
Right.
Yes.
Man, I loved that event. And that was a awesome moment for me to meet you guys.
Yeah, man.
That was a great concert. Now it was back and forth. It was like a little pleasure, but a little bit of pain because at the time, our brother, Wonder Mike, was really ill. He was extremely ill. We had all the way getting to that day, he was just ill. And that day was the day that we literally had to send him to the hospital. Had we not sent him to the hospital that day, it's possible he might not even be here today. Wow. So and that all happened during rehearsal. So like at that point, we made the decision for him to go to the hospital, and we still, of course, we did the show. We did the show that night. And so, that whole time it was it was very strange for us because again, like I said, I hadn't been on stage and I hadn't been actively performing for almost 20 something years. That's the first thing. I hadn't been to Europe in over 20 something years. That's the second thing. And then I hadn't been on stage without Mike or Hank ever in my life. So that was like the first time that I was on stage with not Mike or Hank. So it was a deep night, man. And you were there. So how about that?
That's history.
Right. And now we move the script up to we're in Canada, right? And I'm like, oh wow, we're doing this benefit. It was popping, this, that, and the third. We did our thing, and I was looking forward to just being able to speak to you. And fortunately, I ended up kind of in the wings when you were getting ready to go on.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to know that I was really, really, really impressed with your work, and that I enjoyed what you did, and I just wanted you to make contact. And I'm going to go a step further, and you guys don't know this, but I saw you in the airport the next day. I was behind you going through customs. And the thing that I noticed about you was how mellow and how low key you moved.
That's Mr. Cool right there.
You didn't have a lot going on. You didn't have a lot going on around you. And I was like, wow, this cat, there's something. So there's something to this guy. I remember saying that to myself because I move a lot the same way. You follow me? I don't like a big deal. I don't, it's not about that for me. You know what I mean? and I never thought that I'd have an opportunity to talk to you, but is that part of your makeup that you
Totally.
you know you prefer to?
Totally. You know, I am a hip hop artist first. I started out writing rhymes, writing lyrics. And for me, it was always about writing, songwriting. I had to get on stage to be the salesman for my songs, for my raps, right? And when you're in hip hop, that's how it works. You don't do nobody else's lyrics.
Right.
But as I became a singer, I stepped even more into that role of songwriter. And I was like, even though I'm on stage selling these songs, I'm still primarily a lyricist. And that's what I'm about. So I'm not trying to be out there on everybody's TMZ and page 6. I'm just trying to bring the bacon home to my family.
Do your thing. That's it.
Brother,
yeah.
Speak.
So okay. So here we are. Do you have, and we ask everybody that comes on the show, do you have a Rapper's Delight story? Where were you, or what was your experience? If you're a hip hop person, you've got to have a Rapper's Delight story. When the first time you heard it, or what was your introduction to us?
So when I was, I want to say 4 years old, I was on El Toro Marine Corps Base. This is in Orange County, California, an hour south of Los Angeles. My dad was in the Marine Corps. He retired after 30 years as a major. But during that time, I was the youngest one on the block. And they called me Little Rock, right? So because I was learning all the moves and steps that all the bigger kids were doing. And the music that we would listen to, right? UTFO, Stetsasonic, whatever was happening in the 80s, but we also had music prior. And so my first experience would have been backspinning, up rocking to Rapper's Delight on cardboard outside the front of my house.
How old were you?
4 years old. 4 years old. Because I only lived on that base that, from the time I was born till I was 5. And by the time I was 5, we moved to another base. So I know, at that point I was young and I was smitten. I was in love with hip hop and
that's a beautiful thing.
Beginning to learn these words that would be ingrained into my psyche and understanding and everything for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy. That's crazy, man.
I want to also, man, you have so many things that I wanted to let you know that I've been watching, been paying attention to. I want to also congratulate you on the project with my man Forest Whitaker, the Forest Whitaker project, man.
Godfather of Harlem.
Yes, man. You were phenomenal,
Awesome.
phenomenal in that, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. Talk about that, man. What was that experience like working with him? I love him, man. I love him, man. He's amazing.
It was a pleasure, first of all, just to be considered to be on the show, and to work with such a great actor. He's very gracious and he's also, like you were saying, very laid back, very mellow,
Yes. Yeah.
And I appreciate that about him. And being on the show, though, for me, acting, it's a whole new muscle. I thought I had it, the way that actors have it, because I've been on stage so many times. But one thing that I learned is that the camera doesn't need you to yell at it. When we're on stage, we're telling the audience to say ho and like make some noise, and we're projecting. The camera doesn't need that. The camera wants you to be reserved so that the audience has to come in and put their ear up to you. And that's what I had to learn. And watching amazing actors, artists like Forest Whitaker has taught me that.
No, man. My man Giancarlo Esposito, man. Come on, man. Oh my God.
Great. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we talking about that.
I'm a huge film buff. I watch everything. I watch everything from Korean films to Italian La Dolce Vita. You know what I mean? I watch that. I mean,
we call him Cisco Ebert Johnson.
Yeah. I'm like heavy, and I've dabbled. I've done some acting in some lightweight stuff. I've done some film stuff. So I really appreciate the craft, And like you say, I really appreciate the skill. And because I've been on stage for 40 something plus years, and I've also been in front of a camera, I know that it's two different mentalities. It's almost like you have to reinvent yourself and disconnect yourself from the two situations, because being on stage, it's like a natural progression to go after people. That's what you want to do. You know, it's like you want to, I want to grab you and I want to keep you with me. But when you're acting, you have to let the feeling, it has to come out of you. It has to come out of you organically. It really just has to, like you said, it has to just transfer, and the people have to understand where you're coming from emotionally. Almost what like they say, there's a lot of great actors who can tell a story without even saying a word. That's a beautiful skill.
Are you pursuing something else with acting, Aloe?
Absolutely. I'm going to continue to pursue acting. There are specific roles that I really want to play. And there are specific roles that I would never accept, right? So a lot of the scripts and auditions that came to me were roles for like the drug dealer or the gangster or the thug or whatever. And I was like, nah, that's played, that's tired. That's a narrative coming from the oppressor's perspective.
Absolutely.
We need brand new stories and brand new presentations that really reflect who we are, our dignity and humanity. So those are the roles that I'm looking for. I was able to get that opportunity a few times.
Go ahead.
So Aloe, this is a two-part question, basically. So basically, you say you started out loving hip hop. So what year was it that you realized that, you know, that singing was your lane, that you wanted to be a singer? And also, now that you are a great singer and vocalist, was there anything that you took from hip hop and you incorporated it into, you know, singing?
Got it. So in 2001, I went to Europe on tour, came back, and one of the producers that was on the tour with me, he's also an MC, he gave me a beat CD, 16 beats. I wrote 15 rap songs, and I had one beat left and didn't know what to record to it. So I decided I would sing on it. And I was really in love with the soul greats, and doing my studying of Nina Simone and Otis Redding and Sam Cooke, and Change Is Gonna Come. I decided I would sing Change Is Gonna Come on this last beat, this number 16 on the track, on the CD. And that cover of Change Is Gonna Come over a hip hop beat got me signed to an indie label called Stone's Throw that signed me to be a vocalist. Even though they knew I was an MC, they signed me as a vocalist. So that was 2001 when I recorded that. And what I bring to this singing that I have from hip hop is really the facility with words. Like if I'm in a songwriting session, I'm quick. I'm really quick. I'm quick with the pen, but I'm also quick with the edit, because I know I have a whole Rolodex of rhyming words, and I can work backwards to put together a line, to construct a line.
What's up.
You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of thing that, you know, I really value from my experience with rhyming, with hip hop, is that I can do that. When I get on stage, I'm more so a James Brown than I am a James Ingram. You know what I'm saying? Because of hip hop. Because of hip hop. So, you know, I have ballads, I have slow songs, but I don't do them on stage because I'm trying to rock a crowd.
I got you. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Because at the end of the day, that's the magic, baby. That's the magic, man. One of the greatest things, I call these gifts that we have to do what we do, is it's a gift, you know, to be able to do that. And one of the greatest gifts that we have, man, is the ability to be able to bring that kind of joy to a group of people, be it 10 people, be it 110 people, be it 110,000 people, to just see the faces, man, and the expressions and experience what you've created with someone else. Do you feel like that's an amazing experience? That you know, that force of nature that goes back and forth. Talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great experience. I feel like it's a huge responsibility. I don't take it lightly at all. I recognize that what we do is bring light to the world where there's darkness. We are the last playground for anybody. Music, right? I know you enjoy films, and you can walk around with a film in your head, but you can't sing that film to someone else. It's really impossible to share it in the way that it needs to be shared, other than you share someone else, and you can have that in your head all day. That's a playground you walk around with. So we really are like bringing light to everyone constantly.
Right.
So I think about what are the messages that we're bringing? What is the food that we're serving? Because if you are what you eat, anything that you consume, from the air to the water to the food to the music to the films and TV, all of that is what you are. What do I want to offer the world? You know, and I think about that responsibility.
That's great, man. That's cool. So what made you decide to use your voice and your music for social change? Because I saw your interview on Bill Maher. Bill Maher is one of my favorite shows, right? And the most funny thing which is very true what he said in terms of like music is so long lasting, man. It's nothing else probably on this planet that lasts longer than music. I mean, we love songs that are over 20 years old that we still listen to. You know what I mean?
Hello.
Hello.
And then when he said that the other thing that he could think about is his dick.
Oh God.
And then you came back with the correct answer. You said, "Yo, man, I want to know nothing about your dick."
Bill Maher.
That was funny.
Hello, do you arrange all your stuff and do your production?
For the most part, I'm always part of it, right? If I have a really good producer, DJ Khalil, he's one of the best producers in the business, one of the best human beings in the business, and one of the best hip hop producers in the business. He is so kind to let me be over his shoulder and kind of direct where he goes and what he does, even though he can do it all himself. I've been with, other producers who just want to take it in control of all themselves. But I have a vision. I hear entire arrangements and orchestrations in my head, and so I prefer to be part of the whole process, if not just to do it myself.
Isn't it a beautiful experience when you can translate what's in your head, what you're hearing, strings, part to a musician that can then bring it to life? It's amazing, ain't it?
It really is. And I have a telepathic relationship with a few different artists and musicians that I can do that with. All I have to do is give them a small idea of what a melody, and they understand exactly which chord to play on top of it. Because there's multiple ways. There's dozens of ways to play a chord on top of one melody, right? Yeah. And they find the right one at the right time. That's magic. We are magicians,
without a doubt.
Something out of nothing.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
how has COVID affected, what you've been doing, man? Because I know you were definitely, you like us, you were out there, definitely ruling. How has it affected you?
So luckily, it has not been financially a burden, in the sense that I lost out on a lot of gigs and stuff. Of course I lost out on gigs, but one of the main things that happened to build my career was a television synchronization on how to make it in America with my song I Need a Dollar. And since then, that vertical, understanding that part of the business, has been always present of mind. So I'm always syncing my music to TV shows, television commercials, and movies. And so that stream of income basically compensates for whatever the lack is on the live show side for during this COVID time. And
that's great.
I'm able to spend a lot more time with my family. Our relationship here at home with the kids and my wife, everything's really good. So, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. What's the count, my brother? Boys, girls, what we got?
One girl, 7 years old, one boy, 5 years old. and
God bless you.
We're done for now, I think.
So talk a little bit about the social change that you want to do in your music, that you are doing in your music.
You know, with the music, my goal is to remind people. I want to give people the songs that can make them feel like they are loved and that they can love. So, you know how with, you know, great R&B songs of the past, you would hear a lyric and it's something sentimental and you're like, oh, I feel like that. This is how I want to, this is a song I want to go and serenade a lady to. I'm trying to write the songs that a father can serenade his son to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does it exist?
Wow, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So there are stories and there are narratives that just don't really get the play that they deserve in music because there's a marketplace that churns fear, anxiety, and romance. Of course, romance. Why not?
Yep.
But I'm trying to just offer that other story that other people don't have. So, you know, I wrote a song called Daddy Told Me So. Son, don't you grow up too fast. Make those days you're living last. Cause one day they'll be gone and past. You'll wish them back again. You only get to have this one. Life is precious and when it's done, it's measured up in love and fun. So enjoy it while you can. And oh, I've seen it all. And I'll be here to catch you before you fall. And oh, I've done it all before. You'll get your chance the same, you can be sure. Ask me how I know, cause my daddy told me so.
Nice. That's nice, man. That's
I love that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's dope.
Wow.
That's dope.
Hello, today I was thinking while I was driving about almost the same thing. When you're young, only thing that you want to do is get big enough to be, you know, to do things by yourself. And once you get older, you want to be old enough to not have to work no more, just chill out. And then once you get to that point, you want to be back to the same thing. Right. So it's that same circle, and it's so strange. And you just brought this up, and that was a fold, bro. That song is
beautiful.
Bro.
That was beautiful.
Dope,
that was
man.
it.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I have 3 children. My oldest is 37, and my youngest is 25 or 26. 2 sons and a daughter. And my life has been you know, I just turned 59 2 weeks ago. So yeah, thank you. I've had these very interesting relationships with my sons, you know, and my daughter. And my son and I, my oldest son and I, he has my grandchildren, and we're starting to develop another dimension to our relationship. And when you just said, it just kind of hit me. It was a heart punch because I've never been able to connect with him on a level that was spiritual. You follow me? Beyond, you know, the fact that, okay, you know, I'm a personality or whatever the case may be, and, you know, financial, whatever the case may be. But that's so important. Like you just said that. When is there going to be, or what do we do to be able to connect with our sons, man, to be able to give them something that will stay in their head all the time? That's very deep, man. I've talked to a lot of people, and I've been to a lot of places, and this is you've inspired me, you know, and to inspire an old dude like me is pretty deep, because I've seen the good and the bad and the ugly, and I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna flip the script though. Tell us the whole deal with the hats, because I'm a haberdasher person myself. So what's the deal with the hats? Because I saw you early on, you didn't have hats, and then now every time I see you got a hat. So what's up with that?
So in hip hop times, there was no hats, and then when I got into singing, because my first hit was throwback soul, I was rocking the afro. And when I was rocking the afro, there were no hats until I decided, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna slowly, you know, trim the afro down. And I started to do a lot of when I was doing throwback soul, I was also wearing vintage clothing.
Notice that.
You know,
Mhm.
70s, late 60s, early 70s
Shark skin
vintage
suit,
clothing.
shark skin. Yeah, I know, brother. I know. Go ahead.
Yep. So then I decided, okay, I started to get a lot of business from what do you call it? Luxury brands. So a lot of collaborations and sponsorships. And I thought, okay, I still need to look classy, but not 70s classy. Let me just look timeless classy. And that to me was Sammy Davis, Nat King Cole, Sinatra, right? So the tailored Italian suit with the trilby or the or fedora, or you know, something with a not too long of a brim and not too short of a brim was my thing. And I ended up just working out, finding the right kind of brand that I liked a lot, Gorin Brothers. And I keep looking up because, you know, my whole wall.
Yeah. No, I noticed that too. I saw that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that.
No.
And so that was part of it. Just wanted to have that classy and classic look. And the hat was my new thing since I wasn't gonna rock an afro.
That was that, and it's amazing, and that's interesting. Again, going to you being an individual, having your own rhythm. I call it moving to your own rhythm. I move to my own rhythm. I always have. I always will. You know what I mean? And my guys will tell you. You know, again, coming back to the group, everybody coming back to music, everybody was doing that. You know, the big clothes and this and that. I came back with, you know, suits and ties and you know and the handkerchief and the whole 9 yards, and people were kind of like trying to figure out, you know, what was my whole thing. But I again, being a movie buff, you know, I was always blown away by how they dressed in the 40s and the 50s, and the double breast is my love. I love double breast, the double breast, and you know, the little the flower in the lapel with the handkerchief, you know, all of that. That just really, I just love that whole thing. So that was another thing that I admired about watching you. You know, coming into the fold, you had no problem with doing your own thing. You know what I mean? You're not trying to dress like, and you know, the hottest guy that was out before you or whatever. You did your thing. You found your groove. Tell me about the first song. Tell me about the dollar. How did that come about? I remember hearing that when I was in Europe, and we were over in Europe, and for a long time, man, I thought you were European. I really did. I thought that you were, you know, like from either somewhere in like Germany or France or
London or whatever.
Where were you?
You know, we spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time over there, so that's where I heard you first. I heard you in Europe first.
So I'm American, very American. My parents are from Panama, and I grew up in Southern California.
Gotcha.
I Need a Dollar was inspired by listening to field recordings. There is an old kind of a record label owner named Art. What was his name? Lomax. I can't remember his first name, but he would record field recordings of chain gang workers and field sharecroppers and that kind of thing. And he was recording their songs. And those songs were their own blues that they would make up extemporaneously, basically freestyling the blues, right? So I Need a Dollar was inspired by listening to those. I had been laid off from my corporate gig. I had a corporate gig right after I graduated from university for a couple years. And when I got laid off, I was living in a house with a bunch of musicians. They had a huge record collection, and one of them let me listen to these field recordings. So I started freestyling my own field song of I Need a Dollar. That was in 2004 or 5. In 2009, I went to Brooklyn to go write and record with a soul production team called Truth and Soul, and this freestyle is in the back of my head. So they're jamming on some music, and I thought, you know what? that beat that you're making right now sounds like this rhyme that I have over here, and I'm gonna put them together. Again, my hip hop background coming into play, and I was able to you know, make that connection there. So that when that song was recorded, it ended up being available for a music supervisor who was looking to sync it as the theme to How to Make It in America. And at that time, Napster and LimeWire and all kinds of things were popular. So everybody overseas was illegally downloading our American TV shows. There was one music radio programmer in France named Emilien Alma. And the reason why I know his name is because I became his friend and we worked together. He heard the song, loved it so much that he played it on French radio without any of the, you know how the business goes with radio, without any of that stuff, right?
Right.
He just played it because he loved it. It became a sensation because of him playing it. All the major big stations started to play it. He was just a really cool, hip boutique radio station.
Wow.
Then I started getting magazine covers, TV shows, big radio interviews in France. And then Germany was like, oh, what's going on over here?
Right.
Germany started picking me up. Then England was like, wait a minute, we're not going to be late to this.
Right,
picking it up. So then I went to Europe and I spent pretty much 3 years just, you know, going all around doing all kinds of promo. That's why you would think, oh, Aloe Blacc must be from Europe, because I spent so much time.
Exactly, well,
and it's very crazy because see, the time that you're talking about is the time that we came back into the fold. So like I said, I came back in 2005. By 2007, we were touring. So between 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to 13, that's where we were. We were in Europe, you know. So all of that time, we were over there. And that's why now I understand why I heard you, I know I must have seen you in you know, on television, or as the situation may be.
Right. So the song actually was bigger over there than it was here, actually, because basically,
way bigger. And so it had a chance. It had a chance here, but the TV show didn't last long enough. It was only 1.5 seasons. And then I was on this indie label, Stone's Throw. Interscope wanted to sign me. So they did sign me. And they were like, okay, can we just license that album over here so we can really blow it up in America? And, you know, the indie label was just negotiating in a way that Interscope was like, eventually, you know, this is still when Jimmy Iovine was there. He was like, nah, we're just gonna make a whole new album. Forget it.
That is so weird, man. They don't
even see what they're missing. Let's just do something brand new. That's when I did The Man and Wake Me Up.
Yo, that's crazy, because you know what? We went through that same thing with Bob Sinclair with the La La song. La La song was number one, went number one over in Europe.
Huge.
Then huge over there. Then when it got here, Atlantic wanted to do something with it. And then by the time they got through negotiating and everything, they said, well, let's put them in the studio and do a new song. And we did something new.
It didn't work out. Yeah, but we understand, because that was our thing. When you know, when Bob Sinclair came to us, it made me think about that too, Henry. When Bob Sinclair came to us about doing the project with him, you know, that was the first record that Mike and I had done in, again, over 20 years. And it exploded in France, exploded in Italy. It was big, you know, all over the Netherlands and the whole 9 yards. So we're thinking, you know, especially again, Mike and I coming back, and we want to make our mark. We want to let the world know that we can do more than, you know, Rappers Delight. And okay, it's gonna come to America. And once it gets to America, it's gonna be wow. And no, that's not the deal. But you know, it's all good, because you know, we know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know. So with that being said, do you have any questions for us?
Absolutely. I read something about pizza, a pizza shop.
Hey.
and when you guys realized either that you were going to become rappers or something like that. Why don't you tell that story?
Okay, so there was a pizza shop So I was born in New York, and right over the bridge, if you know about the New York metropolitan area, I'm sure you've been to New York before. 15 minutes over the George Washington Bridge is northern New Jersey. So it's an area called Bergen County, Englewood, Hackensack, and Teaneck. So when my parents left Brooklyn, we came to this town, Teaneck. And between Teaneck, Englewood, and Hackensack, that's kind of where I was. And then we would go back and forth because I had a grandmother in Brooklyn, I had a grandmother in Mount Vernon. So the pizza place was the hub in our town. It was the place. And this guy from the Bronx at this point comes over, and he was a black dude making pizzas in this pizza parlor. And we knew that he could rap. We heard about this because it was a big deal. Y'all understand, we're talking about 1979, 78, 77, when New York and New Jersey was like two different worlds. So it was all about word of mouth. So it was this rap about this guy at this pizza place. So long story short, Sylvia, God rest her soul, heard somebody in New York rapping. She lived in New Jersey in our town. And so she was looking for a guy. She had the ideal. She said, well, maybe I should put this rap thing on the record because nobody had done it at that time. So she heard about this guy. They had already got this dude signed, figured out that he was going to do it. And the guy turned him down. They were going to they had the music, the whole 9 yards. They went to go get the guy. He was at the McDonald's. The McDonald's was directly across from the pizza parlor. So when the guy turned them down, they went into panic mode. But the two kids in the car said, well, the guy in the pizza parlor is from the Bronx. He can rap. So they made a U-turn and they went into the pizza parlor to try to talk to Hank to get him to come out in the car and audition for them. In the process of that happening, I was walking down the street with a friend of mine who knew Sylvia's son. That conversation ensued between Sylvia's son and my friend, and we found out that they were looking for people to rap. My friend says, "Oh, you want to hear somebody rap? You need to listen to this guy." So I'm standing on the sidewalk. I'm blown away because it's Sylvia, and I know about her, but I had never met her. I didn't think I had met her. And so I get in the back of the car. So all of this happened in front of the pizza parlor on Palisade Avenue in our town. And then later on, when we went to the house and we were auditioning, we did not know that, Hank was borrowing his lyrics. We had no clue because in Jersey, all we got was, like you said, if you're a rapper, you write your own rhymes. That's what we thought. That's what we were doing. So we didn't know that Hank was borrowing his rhymes. At any rate, the conversation gets down to where she doesn't want to choose any between the three of us. It was supposed to be one person. She chose all three of us, and she starts talking about the studio. Well, I found out that as a child, my father was a recording engineer, and I used to run through the halls of her studio while he was in the studio doing sessions. And that's the whole thing. So between Palisade Avenue and West Street was like literally over here. So the pizza parlor was over here, the studio was over there, and that's where everything happened. So that's the whole thing about the pizza place is the birthplace of the Sugarhill Gang.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story, and how time really was just a factor. You were supposed to be working with Sylvia at some point. It was just a matter of time.
Right? I tell people this all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
I tell people this all the time. There's nothing that I could have thought about that had me prepared for it. Everything happened like it was meant to happen. Period. Point blank. I was with Mark.
It goes to show you how God works in mysterious ways, man.
I was with Mark. Had I not been with Mark, I would have walked by them. I was living in Hackensack. I moved to Englewood. Had that not happened, I wouldn't have started rapping. It's just, so there. So that's that whole situation. Yeah. That's brilliant, pretty cool. Brilliant. Yeah. Yes.
The term hip hop.
Yes.
How much of the term hip hop has to do with the song versus the song having borrowed the term hip hop?
Well, okay. So, of course, Oz is the first successfully recorded hip hop record on the planet. So you do understand that, right? So before Sugarhill Gang, It was just a street thing. There was a couple of things, some tapes floating around, but there was no commercially successful rap group until us.
Right.
Okay. Everything came after Rapper's Delight, Apache, Eighth Wonder, all of those records. That's when Mel and Flash and them came to Jersey. They recorded Freedom, et cetera, et cetera. Curtis came after, not too long after we put out Rapper's Delight. Curtis put out Christmas Rapping, like maybe 3 or 4 months after that. So what started happening is, after people started realizing that this was a form of music, because initially people just thought it was a song, or it was a few songs, or it was a couple of groups. So they were still considering it to be R&B, that kind of situation. They started realizing it had a category. It started becoming more and more of a presence. One by one and little by little, it's almost like fashion. One person did it, another person did it. And I think because of Mike saying hip hop, the hippie to the hippity hip hop, you don't stop, it became the quickest way to abbreviate the music. Instead of calling it rap records or rap songs, because that's what we called it. People just started saying hip hop, and it connected.
Right.
So the terminology hip hop, giving it that name, came from us.
Right.
Because Mike said hip hop on the record.
Right. And plus too, Aloe, it made it a lot easier for corporate America or the corporate world to accept. Rap was sort of like, had that negative kind of vibe to it, or whatever the case may be. But hip hop, it don't sound like, it sounds more like something that they can accept. You know what I mean?
So yeah,
that's. Thank you for telling me that story. I was not sure, and that really sums it up.
The thing is, absolutely. So, and the thing that people, and another reason why I've agreed to even do this show, is because we were so beginning, because we are the beginning, there's a lot that's not really known about that time. Mm-hmm. People equate the music, a lot of times people equate everything to Running them, or they equate it to, okay, well, it was Run and then this, or it was bits and pieces. And what people don't understand, and one of my missions is to let people get to understand that we are the beginning of this music, period. You follow me? We are the first ones to take it overseas. We're the first ones to be on television. There's no first without Michael Wright, Henry Jackson, and Guy O'Brien. There is no first. I don't care what happens. I don't care what goes down. I don't care how much money is made behind this. When it gets down to it, 2,000 years from now, I love to watch a lot of history and all of this. When they look for the ruins of the beginning of this music, it's going to be Michael Wright, Guy O'Brien, and Henry Jackson. That's it, point blank. And everything else comes after that. So that's another reason why at this point in my life, because I'm comfortable with who I am, and I'm comfortable with being a part of this thing, which I wasn't, which was part of the reason why I was gone for all those years. I feel like it's my mission now to make sure that people understand that we're the beginning of this thing. Yeah. So that's kind of, that's like my mission too. And also, like you said, to bring, because the legion of Sugarhill fans, which was another epiphany to me, is so incredible. I mean, there's not been a place on the planet that we have been to that there have not been people that know, B-sides to stuff that we did. Right. I mean, cats coming up to me and asking me about, Hot Summer Day. I mean, a song that I wrote when I was 18 years old in my apartment in Teaneck, New Jersey, and some guy in, Warsaw, Poland is telling me, oh, freak, the funk. I love this song. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So,
and not to be,
that's my mission.
And not to be confused with the guys who started in 73 and 74. That was a social thing in the park. That doesn't equate to worldwide. You understand what I'm saying, Aloe?
It's a different part of the culture, right? There is b-boying, there's graffiti, there's emceeing, there's DJing. They all had their different beginnings in different places. What you're talking specifically about is who put it on the map when it comes to rap.
Exactly. That's what we talk
about. Even naming the culture so that we can fuse it together. Otherwise, they would be all disparate, things that. But that's it.
That's all. That's all.
Thank you for your contribution.
Aloe, that's all that Mike and I, we always say. We never try to take, because people do this. They'll say, well, you guys are the guys are the birth of hip hop. No, we're not the birth of hip hop. No, Herc and Flash and Cold Crush and Mel, all of them, everybody in the New York area that was over there doing it. I heard about it. You know what I mean? I heard about it from a guy that went to high school. I went to high school with. He was DJing and I was DJing, and I heard him rapping at a party in Hackensack, New Jersey. I just happened to ask him, hey man, what are you doing? Because I heard him talking over the music at a party he was doing, and he said, oh, that's rapping, man. That's what they're doing in New York. So I've never said, and I never will say, oh yeah, well, I'm the beginning of hip hop. No, but I will say, like we're talking about, as far as commercial success, Drake fame, teenage girls, hip hop, all the magazines, we're the first. We're the first, and from us, there it is. Now, granted, a juggernaut. I mean, it's actually absolutely mind blowing to see. Because in the beginning it was Sugarhill Gang, Curtis Blow, and the Furious Five. That was the only three groups that was on the radio. I mean, and now, like I said, Jay-Z's doing deals. Jay-Z's doing deals with the NFL. The guy's worth $1 billion on something that I started doing, just to get a date. You know what I mean? So it's a phenomenal thing, man. Hey, listen, Aloe, I want to say that this has been a true joy. Like I said to you before, and I'm going to continue to say, you're a class act.
Yeah,
I respect what you do. I've respected what you do. That's why, again, like I said, I wanted to make it my business when I saw you in Canada to let you know that how you move, the way you've done what you've done business-wise, the whole 9 yards. You're an inspiration, man. And I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I wish you continued success.
No doubt,
yes, brother.
And
we got a song for you too.
Oh boy!
Awesome! I can't wait to hear. Thank you guys so much.
No doubt.
Thank you. And so now before we go, what we got to do now is we got to let you know that you are now officially a part of the Sugarhill Gang family. So from now on, when I see you and I say, "What's up, Cuzzo?" that means you are.
What's up, Cuzzo?
You are officially a part of the family. Okay.
Of course. Happy to be a part of the family. Thank you.
Thank you. So listen, thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, Cuzzo.
This is the Sugarhill Gang podcast. I'm your host, the Master G. Say what's up. Say goodnight, T.
Good night, T.
Say goodnight, Hen.
Good night, world.
Say goodnight, Aloe. Say goodnight, Cuzzo.
No doubt.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Peace, Aloe.
Thank you. We love you for loving us. We're the Sugarhill Gang. We're the peace with the Sugarhill Gang. We love you for loving us. Peace, y'all. Thank you. And we are out.